Good morning, my name is Sarai, Ajai, and thanks for watching. This is Identity Theft Documentary number 6. The time is approximately 11:40 a.m. on April 27, 2017. I want to touch base on an incident that happened to me in the public library on Tuesday. I arrived at the public library at approximately 12:23 p.m. and I left about approximately 3:40 p.m. And the reason why I went to this public library, because they have a certain software, online software, called A to Z database for marketing research. I wish things were quite simple, where I can just download the 30,000 records that I had criteria to. However, it wasn't that simple. I can only do 1,000 records by clicking on it on the main page to reach 1,000 to get to 30,000 records. So that's why I was there, for that purpose. I sat at the computer station 24. The public library do have surveillance cameras on the ceiling. And not even 5 minutes, the two females that were monitoring those stations at that desk, that public library, started with their subliminal messages, their innuendos, and insinuation. Subliminal message is basically a conversation they will have with each other or with another person, and the subject matter doesn't fit. It's spoken loudly for you to hear, and the context that they want you to hear. For example, I cannot put my tongue in your mouth. I don't like you. You're always carrying your personal possessions with you. They can't put their tongue in my mouth. I hear it at this public library, but I hear it everywhere I go. And that's sexual obfuscation, harassment. They can't gang rape me. It's also sexual obfuscation, harassment. Around about 1 p.m., the two women had switched to an African American male to monitor those stations at the desk. He too started with his subliminal messages, innuendos, and insinuations. And he was stating that I refuse to suck cock, but I quoted it in my transcript that I would post with this video. I refuse to suck cock. You refuse to become a Pussy eater. I won't say the word. And he said other things. That's in his transcripts. As I was leaving, he accuses me of being belligerent. What is belligerent? The word means warlike, hostile, quarrelsome. I don't know. I did confront those women and asked them why every time in this library there is always an issue with these subliminal messages or innuendos. Of course, they were in denial. They wasn't talking to me. But it happens quite often, not just there. They also, the two women, before they left the station, accusing me of being lazy and won't get a job. How can I get a job when you claim I'm fake? I'm not the original person under my own paperwork. They claim they're better people. They shouted another employee that wasn't at the station. I mean, she screamed it on Tuesday, walking past. If they're better people, then why can't they get the job under their own paperwork? It's her advocacy group or their special interest groups claiming he or she is a better person than I, then explain how he or she is a better person than I. I'm asking a question. You claim they are. So give the differentiation how they're better than I. It's my paperwork, it's my goals, it's my educational attainment, it's my work history. You claim they're better people or they disproportionately affected, but how is they disproportionately affected? In the United States, we have democracy, supposedly. They all on the same playing field on the birthright game. If I decide to finish high school and they decided not to and do other extracurriculum, why am I being blamed? I don't know this person. I've never been employed or applied at any public library, even there. So how are they a better person than I? They have birthrights as U.S. citizens. They have Social Security numbers. They have state driver's license and state identification cards and birth certificates. So why are they on my paperwork? Unless you're playing God. You preferentially treated and profiled them more better than I. How could they be better than I when these are my goals and accomplishments? You're justifying through your subliminal messages, your perceptions of me. And what your perceptions of me, you feel you have to write to cause identity segregation conformability based on your perception. I'm no different than the other person you preferentially treat and profile more favorably. It's my paperwork. Why should they get the job when they didn't go to school for it? I feel that I've been in voluntary servitude through this identity slavery game. They disproportionately affected. The question is why? Okay, so the person you preferentially treated and profiled more favorably didn't finish high school, then why am I being compromised for it? I didn't cause that person to not finish their education, but I'm being punished for it. You claim the playing field is not fair, then as a special interest group, it's up to you to start a program for these people to get their GED and then go on to college. What you're doing is subsidizing my paperwork for your advocacy programs and then call it achievement at the risk, extreme vulnerable risk of my life and liberty and pursuit of happiness. I have no rights because of your advocacy groups or your special interest groups. I'm put at risk. And you call what you've done to me allocating this redistribution of wealth or allotment to someone else you like. And I lost everything because of what you think of me. Even though your preferences didn't even go to school. They're sitting at high-level desk jobs and never even been to school, but you claim they're better people. Then why can't they go get their GED? They should be able to pass it. They're so damn smart, they should be able to pass it like this. You claim they're better people, they should be able to ace it. I lost everything because of you. They should be able to ace the GED and go on to college and ace college. You're playing God with my rights. That is guaranteed under Title 42 United States Code subsection 1981, the Human Rights Statute. You have placed me into an overwhelming circumstances for involuntary servitude. Why can't those you have preference treated and profiled more favorably get a job using their own identity? That's a valid question. You're subsidizing my paperwork to a means, to an end that could have been fixed if it done properly by allowing them to take their GED and go into college. But you're subsidizing it. Entitlement enrichment at the risk of someone else being put in impoverishment and on the streets. I have no rights, according to you, over your preferentially treated and profiled more favorably individuals. For what I understand, what's coming back to me when I'm out in the public, some saying they can't pass the GED, then they have to study harder. I don't know. I'm being overwhelmed with people I don't even know. I never waived my rights. I never gave them power of attorney. I never signed an affidavit. But they want me to understand they can't pass it, or they don't want to look like a lazy person at the expense of my rights, my due process, my equal protection as a subsidy program for these special interest groups. Programs. I never even been in a special interest group. So how did they get to my paperwork? Why am I always villainized? And it's my people, it's my actual birthrights. I have no rights. If the psychologist is watching this video that I met a few years ago, he told me the clinical problem that I was having, which was true. But he had no idea they were following me. And this is true. I was told by an employee at the bank that she no longer worked there. She said, once she started working there, she told me one day I went in, it don't matter where I go, I will always be followed. He didn't know I was having this problem. They're here now where I'm living. And I'm having nothing but problems. I was forced to move from the place that I was living when I met him. And now I'm having the same problem. They claim I'm not the original person. I was trying to go back to school last January to take another course in another area, and a man showed up the day I was there. I don't know how they know I'm going there, or they're hacking into my phone calls, or they're looking at my emails, I'm not sure. But he showed up, and of course, I was denied. They did it another way. I'm always denied of service. No one knew this because I'm on my right paperwork. They're doing something else extremely harmful to me now. But you're right. But you didn't know they're following me. This past Sunday, a couple stood outside my apartment at the courtyard. It's a courtyard where I live. And they were arguing, and then she said something very derogatory about me and then walked away. I'd never seen them before in my life. I can't ride the bus. I mean, some of the bus drivers don't like me. They also will say they're derogatory opinions of me, and I don't even know them. None of these people I don't know, never been acquainted to. Only through shopping, I see them at the store or the public library as an employee or trying to receive service. I'm already singled out as a target individual. My life is in hell. They told me they stopped my heterosexual relationships. They want to gang rape me. I didn't even know, it going back years. They tell me this is going back years and I never knew it. I just found this out a few months ago. The people upstairs mentioned that. I have no rights. My high school diploma has been compromised. The first time I ever ordered my high school diploma was 2011. So how did they get to my high school diploma that matched my birth certificate? From the rumor mill around in this area now that they want me to move because they compromised my high school diploma because someone wants to go to medical school on my high school diploma. I'm not in the medical profession field. So who compromised it? And the reason why I knew about it in 2011, I was at one of the stores and that employee was only there for a short time. She told me it was compromised. And that's when I ordered it. I never ordered it. Never. I didn't even know they could get to it. How are they using my background to get these jobs? And they're telling, I believe they're having law enforcement agencies claiming that I am not the original person. And I'm treated as a third-party citizen. When they don't even match the details. I also hearing that I was married and I never been married. My sister, if someone said I was married to my sister's husband, in which my sister was personating me in a federal government agency. And that came about in December of 2014 because an investigator from the state that she's living in now had followed her here. They were investigating her background. And I never worked for the federal government. I never been married. But he told me what she did. I never worked for the IRS. And I think she's up to her tricks again. Her husband is an engineer. Why couldn't he pay for her to go back to school? I know that I attended her graduation. But then she could have just walked the stage. I was all the way back in the entrance of the auditorium of the graduation years ago when she was graduating high school. But she may not have received her diploma. I know they were doing it then. I live in hell. And I found out, someone said this morning, that they don't want them to get a divorce because she lied. My life is in ruin. My son was murdered behind this method, probably because of her. The origin, there has to be an original origin. That they claim me that I'm her and I'm not. They don't want me to ruin their marriage because of her lying. And I never knew she was personating me. They claimed that my son was me. That's what the Mexican told me. He wasn't rude or anything. They shot him in the head and pulled down his pants and found out he had a dick. That was June of 2014. I was taking out the trash here. He wasn't rude. He wasn't mean at all. And he said it was my fault because of my high school diploma. I haven't heard anything from my son since September of 2014. I never been to his funeral. There's so much secrecy among my family members of what they've done to my paperwork. The investigator that followed my sister here said they all were guilty, my siblings were guilty of something that they done to me. And not to trust them. And some of them had admitted. For example, my brother had told me, "You will find out I did not love you." He's claiming that I was gay. He's spreading rumors. My reputation is so ruined when it wasn't even true. But if the psychologist is listening that I met, you need to probe deeper into this issue. It's a social science problem. Because they're falsely impersonating me and then telling me that I'm lazy. The stigmatization is beyond belief. I want to commit suicide because I can't exist. They're making me look like a failure, and it's my paperwork that they're achieving on.